Tieria Walters was raised by an alcoholic father who was abusive in every way.
I remember him pulling my hair, punching me, spanking me. I had no idea what being in a normal family was all about. By the time I was 11, I became a ward of the state.
But for Tieria, foster care proved to be just as chaotic.
I went from foster home to foster home to foster home. And that made me very rebellious. I was constantly running away. I was roaming the streets in the middle of the night, drinking alcohol.
Tieria's rebellion landed her in juvenile hall before she was 14 years old. But after violating her probation, she ran away for good. She left Alaska and started traveling down the West Coast.
That began my time of using LSD. I loved it. I mean, just the things that I was seeing, how it made me feel, it actually took me out of reality.
Tieria's drug habit progressed into a full-blown heroin addiction before she was in her 20s.
When I met heroin, it was downhill from there. It took my feelings away. It made me not have to face reality. I mean, I didn't have to feel, I didn't have to face my problems. And I supported my heroin habit by prostituting.
Tieria did numerous stints in jail and even had a felony on her record. But nothing could deter her from her addictions.
I would prefer to just go ahead and do my time, do jail time so that I can continue getting high rather than being on supervision, being supervised by a probation officer, and not having a felony on my record.
After years of running from the law and doing heroin, Tieria wanted to stop. Her boyfriend suggested that she substitute heroin with meth.
Being addicted to drugs and being high, there is no logic. I ended up getting evicted from my place because I didn't pay any rent, and I had purchased a 64-foot old Greyhound bus, gutted it, and I put my furniture in it, and I moved it out into Big Lake onto a piece of property. And while the guy that I was dating was cooking meth, I was learning how to do it.
Before long, her life revolved around the new drug.
I hated being addicted, but I loved that it took away my feelings, and I loved that it made me feel good.
After months of cooking meth, Tieria was tired. She decided to try something she had never tried before. She prayed.
I didn't like being the way that I was, and I specifically remember sitting in my bus, putting the pipe to my mouth. And when I was putting this pipe to my mouth, in my mind I was saying, God, you know I don't want to be like this. You know, this is I'm tired of being like this. I'm tired of being addicted to drugs. Can you just take it away? So I don't want to be addicted anymore. I want to be able to stop. I just sat in it for a moment. I let it pass, and I continued to get high that day.
Just 2 days after her prayer, Tieria's bus was surrounded by the Alaska DEA. They raided the meth lab and arrested her because of her extensive record. Eventually, Tieria faced 11 felony charges.
I was thinking in my mind, I'm gonna be in prison for the rest of my life. My life is crap. I had no purpose, and I just felt worthless. I was just like, God, you just gotta do something. I just can't do this anymore.
On her first day in prison, Tieria asked for a Bible.
I could not put it down. I was constantly praying, and the first thing that I read was Psalm 40, that he lifts us out of the muck and rescues us. And I desperately wanted that. When I finally had come to a place of realizing how much I really needed God, I completely just fully surrendered and said, you know what, God? I give my life completely to you. Do with it what you want. Do with me what you want. Change my life. Just make me the person that you intended me to be from the very beginning.
Throughout her sentence, Tieria continued to seek God and later became the chaplain's assistant. She graduated from a Christian recovery program and was released 5 years later on parole. Today, she is active in her church, has a great job, and talks about God wherever she goes.
Being in his word and just getting to know who I am, getting to know who he is, that I have a purpose, that he has a plan for my life, that I matter, that I'm worthy, and most of all, that he's my father. Jesus is the answer. And if he can change my life, he can change anybody's life. Surrender your life to him, get to know who he is, and watch what he does. He can make you a totally different person